All right. What a night. Apparently the MGM is telling me that the gate has changed significantly, so they don't have a tally on it yet. I guess that's a good thing. What were the bonuses tonight? What did I say? $75,000. Knockout of the night is Gerald Harris. Submission of the night, Brock Lesnar. Fight of the night was Chris Lieben and Akiyama. And I also gave fight of the night to Stephan Bonner and Krzysztof Sosnowski. All I have to say before we kick this thing off is, holy shit! Seriously, one of the best nights ever in my entire UFC career. I was obviously everybody was pumped up and excited for this main event, but every fight on the card tonight lived up to some of the best nights of fights I've ever seen. I want to thank and applaud all the guys who fought on this card tonight, and I bow down to what happened here at the MGM Grand tonight. Thank you guys all very much. Brock Lesnar's getting stitches right now, and then he'll be right in. And Shane Carwin is going to the hospital, so he won't be here. Who has the first question? Kevin Iole.
I just want to ask first you, Dana, and then a couple of the fighters. Before the main event went in, it seemed like one of the great nights you ever had. Forget about what the main event was, and then the significance of that main event and having Brock overcome what he did. I wonder if you can kind of comment on what your thoughts were, when Brock got hurt and then when it was over, because, he added on to an already almost legendary type night. Yeah, and
I'm sorry, Kevin, but before I answer that, I want to say, when the fight was first starting, I looked at Lorenzo, and you guys know how critical I am about this stuff. I said, how the hell did Josh Rosenthal get this fight? I said, because, listen, I don't know Herb Dean. I've probably said 5 words to Herb Dean in my entire life. I just think that Herb Dean is the greatest ref in the history of the world. When guys are in there, I wish Herb Dean was in every fight. But I want to say Josh Rosenthal did a fantastic job tonight, and I apologize for bad-mouthing him before he did nothing wrong. And then, tonight's fights were, as soon as the live event started, I thought Soteropoulos looked incredible tonight. Then you see the fight with Krzysztof and Bonner, typical Stephan Bonner, absolute war, dogfight, and then just all the way through the card. Then we get to the main event. I was like, I need a nap, man. I don't even know if I can take the main event. It was Lieben pulls off. We call Lieben on late notice to come in and accept this fight with Akiyama, who, many people, I don't know if they don't give this guy the credit, they overlook him. Akiyama is a serious guy, man. This guy's tough. Lieben, like I said at the other press conference, stayed out of trouble and wasn't doing anything bad in between the fight, and steps up and takes the fight and pulls off that submission with 15, 14 seconds left of the fight, in a fight that I don't know which way that fight was going to go. I don't know how the judges were going to score that fight. Then Brock Lesnar and Shane Carwin come in, and I've been talking, for a few weeks now about how tough Shane Carwin is, how skilled he is, and Brock Lesnar, what a big test this would be for him, and he passed the test tonight, man. He's tough. He took shots that 12 other guys couldn't take, or got caught in submissions by him. Tonight was a big night for Brock. So I don't know if I answered your question, Kevin.
Didn't you say the other day, I know one thing, this fight won't end in a submission?
Yeah, I said it won't end up in a submission. And I said, I don't see this thing getting out of the first round, too. I always say that, man. People always ask me, what do you think? Don't ask me what I think. I'm never right anyway.
Question for Lieben then. Chris, after coming after the Bonner-Sosnowski fight, which was so great, and there were a number of other ones, I know you're a guy that likes to stand and bang and everything, but did that get you any extra pumped up for what was going on?
As much as I love Bonner, I'd like to say I watched that whole fight, but when I'm backstage, I get too pumped up watching these things. I need to focus on my battle that's at hand. So I got to watch the highlights of it after my fight, but before that, I knew I didn't want to get worked up watching Bonner fight because I like the guy too much. So I actually didn't watch it. I stayed in the back room and just continued to focus for what I had to get out there and do.
And then, Stefan, for you, having lost, straight in front of you, having lost such a tough fight in Australia, and it was another similarly great fight to tonight, I wonder what the redemption felt like for you, and were you feeding off the crowd once again as they were going crazy?
I was just worried. In Australia, I had one cut on my head, and they stopped the fight on it. This time, I had about 5 or 6, so I didn't want the fight to get stopped. I didn't want anyone taking that fight from me, so I just kept going for it.
Stefan, if I could follow up on that, I mean, when you get that early cut, how does that change your mindset? Do you feel like I've got to push and get this thing done now? Do you start worrying? How did it affect you?
Yeah, I mean, the first cut, I was like, probably no big deal. And the second cut, I was like, oh, damn, it looks like I'm bleeding out another hole. Then, they kept adding up. And, yeah, it got me worried. But the plan was to really make it a dogfight and push the pace. And, me, when I bleed, it tends to bring the best out of me. And typical Bonner.
This is your first win since 2007. It's been a while. Was there ever any time during that stretch, man, does doubt creep in? Do you start, concerning yourself, or how do you battle through that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I blew my knee out. I was out a year there, and yeah, and then had a rough road. And the last fight, it's a loss on my record, but I didn't lose that fight. I was still going. There was 4 minutes left, and it was a tied-up fight in the third round, and it shouldn't have been stopped. And it was a headbutt. So the good thing about that is that gave me a lot of motivation. When I didn't feel like going to the gym or when I was sore, I just thought of that, and it made me go train.
And for Chris, please, sitting here now, how much of the fight do you remember?
That's funny because afterward I was talking to my coaches and I was like, so what was that, like the end of the second round? They're like, no, that one, he must have caught me in there because normally I remember fights like slow motion. I don't even remember the whole thing. I don't have to watch the tape.
and emotionally, how do you feel right, man? This has got to be a pretty special time in your career. I mean, back-to-back bonuses, 2 weeks apart.
Overwhelmed. It's been a long road and a somewhat bumpy one for me, and this is just huge. My career's my life are in better places than they've ever been, and really, I got to thank my team, my coaches, my support group for just, allowing me to be able to do this, to get up here and be in front of you guys and say this. I mean, I'm overwhelmed,
Hey, Dana, I just want to say on the record that you told me that you thought this fight could end in submission. You had Carwin possibly.
Oh, right.
So,
Yeah, Kevin.
But,
I didn't even remember that. That's the last, trust me, that's the last thing I thought was going to happen. You're right, unless Shane pulled it off.
You also talked about Brock being at less than 100% previously, and you didn't really know what he would be tonight at 100%. Obviously, we look at everything that he's been through the past year, fighting for his life really, and really fighting back. And it's almost like he had to do that tonight. He was down in that first round, looked like he was getting ready to get out of there, and he just dug down deep and came back. Can you talk about that, what you saw from him?
No, it's true. Listen, like I said, Brock Lesnar's been in there dominating everybody since he came into the sport. To date, the toughest fight he'd ever had was really Couture. Couture gave him a little bit of a wrestling battle. Couture cut him, roughed him up a little bit, and tonight, I mean, he just absolutely got dominated in that first round by Shane Carwin. And you find out how tough a fighter really is when they face adversity. When somebody's on top of you, dropping punches down on you that have knocked a lot of other people out. And Brock stayed in there and came back in that second round and pulls off a submission.
Can you also talk about Brock Lesnar's response after he won? How much respect he showed Shane Carwin, and how the fans finally are starting to embrace him?
Actually, I didn't hear it. I was literally, this show gave me a heart attack, man. I literally went in the back. I walked right out of the octagon and into my back room back there and sat down. I thought they're going to have to bring a defibrillator back there. I seriously was messed up after the show. I was blown away. I need a nap.
Danny Acosta for Fight Magazine. to Dana and Stefan, Bonner Szynski 3, is that a fight that's you guys something that you would welcome?
Well, I'm sorry, what did you say?